By 1792, after the chaos of the French Revolution, the new revolutionary French Republic found itself at war with most of Europe. In August 1791, the King of Prussia Frederick Wilhelm II and the Holy Roman Emperor Leopold II, who also happened to be Marie Antoinette's brother, issued the Declaration of Pillnitz. It stated the cooperation of the two states against revolutionary France and their joint effort to restore King Louis to the French throne. It declared, "His Majesty the Emperor and His Majesty the King of Prussia, having given attention to the wishes and representations of the Monsieur, the brother of the King of France, and of M. le Comte d'Artois, jointly declare that they regard the present situation of His Majesty the King of France as a matter of common interest to all the sovereigns of Europe. In that case, their said Majesties the Emperor and the King of Prussia are resolved to act promptly and in a common accord with the forces necessary to obtain the desired common end." That desired common end was the containment of France, and less than 12 months later, the French Assembly voted to declare war on Austria. This declaration of war would eventually spiral into the War of the First Coalition, pitting France against a massive coalition of Austria, Prussia, Great Britain, the Dutch Republic, Spain, Portugal, and Naples. One of the major theatres of the war was the Lowlands, the areas of the Austrian Netherlands and the Dutch Republic. The campaign in the Lowlands and the beginning of the war generally did not start well for the French. In April 1792, they lost at the Battle of Kieftran and Marcaine to Austria and lost at Verdun to the Prussians. It was not until November, at the Battle of Jemappes, that the French scored one of their first victories. A far larger French force under General Charles-François Dumouriez had decisively beat a relatively small and inexperienced Austrian army under the Duke of Cheshire and the Count of Clerfayt. French dominance in the Netherlands, however, would not last long. By March the next year, a French force, once more under General Dumouriez and joined by a young Louis-Philippe, the future King of France, was defeated by a combined force of Austrian and Dutch forces under the Prince of Coburg at the Battle of Neerwinden. After Neerwinden, the French were forced out of the Netherlands for more than a year. By the time the French did return, the makeup of the Revolutionary Army had changed quite drastically. At the suggestion of the military officer and theorist Lazare Canon, the National Convention issued a proclamation ordering the introduction of a new system of mass conscription, known in French as levée en masse. From the beginning of 1793, every department in the country had to meet a quota of a set number of new recruits, all able-bodied men aged between 18 to 25. By the start of the year, this new system had totaled 300,000 men. A few months later, this doubled to 645,000. Within almost a year, by September 1794, this had ballooned to almost 1.5 million. After the humiliation at Neerwinden, the French under Divisional General Jean-Charles Pichegru, now supported by a massive fresh supply of manpower, won a stunning victory over the Austrians and the Dutch at the Battle of Fleurus in June 1794. By this point, the Austrians had had enough and decided that keeping the Netherlands wasn't worth the trouble. This effectively left the Dutch Republic completely exposed, and the French began their march to the capital. The French advance into the Netherlands was greatly aided by a severe winter, with temperatures averaging between -5 and -10 between December and January. The rivers Meuse, Waal and Nieuwediep had completely frozen over, allowing French forces to easily cross the Dutch waterways. The French army arrived in Amsterdam on the 19th of January 1795, and on the very same day disbanded the Dutch Republic and declared the creation of the Batavian Republic. This was a pro-revolutionary so-called sister republic, but in reality it was little more than a French satellite state. The head of the former Dutch Republic, the Stadtholder and Prince of Orange, William V, had fled across the Channel to Britain earlier in January. There he sought refuge with his cousin King George III. He stayed in the Dutch House complex within Kew Palace in Richmond, just outside of London. Despite orders not to take up arms against the invaders, the new Batavian government and French authorities were concerned that part of the navy still remained loyal to William V and were making preparations to sail to England to join him. General Pichegru dispatched General Jan Wilhelm de Winter, a Dutch officer in French employ, to the harbour of Nieuwerdiep, not far from the town of Den Helder, to neutralise what was left of the Dutch navy. De Winter was to be joined by the French Lieutenant Colonel Louis Leher and cavalry from the 18th Hussar Regiment. De Winter, Leher and the Hussars arrived at Den Helder on the night of the 23rd of January. There they found the river completely frozen over and the Dutch fleet completely enclosed by ice. Leher and 128 of the Hussars rowed across the frozen river to negotiate with the Dutch ships. Leher spoke to Hermanus Rienters, the captain of the Admiral Piet Hein. The two agreed that the Dutch fleet would remain at anchor and would make no attempt to flee to England. In total, 14 warships and a handful of merchant navy vessels, consisting of 5 ships of the line, 3 frigates, 2 hulks, 6 corvettes and 4 cutters, surrendered to the French cavalry, many of which were still on horseback on the ice without a single shot being fired. Another short video this week, but I've been really busy working on the next video. It'll definitely be a long one, probably quite a long one, maybe the same length as the first one on the Zero. So please look forward to that, because I am. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like me to make a video on in the future. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.